This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to Special Chronicles presents Inclusive Health Series Season 2, Pt3. This is Daniel Smrokowski, founder of Special Chronicles and a health messenger of Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois Director of Health and Wellness Taylor returns this week for our Healthy Habits topic as we define what are healthy habits, its purpose, what are healthy habits stations, and educational topics that we have across the state of Illinois. And so please put your hands together as we welcome Taylor. Welcome back.
Hey, Daniel.
Good to have you. I think this is part 3 of our season 2 of our health series. I know I shared with you in email that we've been getting some. We've already a week into this season of the series and getting a lot of positive feedback from.
It's exciting to hear.
Yeah,
we're sharing a lot of really cool information. So happy to hear that everyone is enjoying what we have to share.
Yeah, so for all of you listening, thank you. For those of you that have reached out, thank you. And we when you do reach out, and it means a lot to hear from all of you listening. And please also remember to not only follow this podcast, but also share these episodes, share the audio podcast, share the video. If video podcasts are more your thing, share the video episodes, share the series with your friends, with your teammates, so more people can learn about healthy athletes. And this week, it's all about healthy habits. And so let's. I learned about it through our health messenger training, but for our listeners, I'm sure this might be a new topic for them. So let's begin with a brief definition of what are healthy habits.
Yeah, that's a great question, because a lot of times when we are hosting Healthy Habits, a lot of people come up to us, what is this? So it's just a great way to spread awareness that we are Healthy Habits will be seeing more across the state of Illinois. But to answer your question, they are our interactive, fun education stations that we bring to, or at least we try to bring to all of our sporting events. And this is main purpose for the athletes, but also it's very beneficial for our unified partners, coaches, parents, volunteers, and community partners. And the purpose of Healthy Habits, what we do is we provide education and resources, and those that we provide, we work to improve each athlete's ability to train and compete in all of our sports. And as well as to ensure the importance of developing, incorporating healthy habits in their daily routine. And we discussed a lot about Pt5 in our first episode together, which covers hydration, nutrition, and physical activity. Well, Healthy Habits covers those topics as well, but we do cover a bigger variety of health topics outside of those 3 topics, because there are so many different factors that can affect our overall well-being and sport performance.
Awesome. And moving on, it was. I'm sure it might be obvious to some, or at least some that our into healthy lifestyles might. This is obvious, but for, I guess, overall for more of our athletes and community in Special Olympics, share what's the purpose of us even talking about healthy habits.
Yeah, so its purpose really is to increase health education and resources for our athletes all across the state for free. You know, we do our best to host these stations at all of our sporting events as possible, but we also like to have host them when we are not available to offer healthy athletes, which is our health screenings. So at these stations, what we do, we provide informational displays for anybody that comes up to the station to kind of view what we're talking about. We also provide handouts, and along with that, we also try to provide fun activities or experiments for our athletes to do so they can walk away from these stations and hopefully take a lot from their experience at the stations and take home their experience with them so they can incorporate those daily habits in their daily lives. For example, one of our activities that we really like to do are DIY stress balls, which can be really messy, but it's a lot of fun. You just need a few supplies, you know, balloons, some rice, and funnel, and a marker to decorate. You put the rice in the balloon through the funnel, and you tie up the balloon, and with the marker you can decorate. And it's just an easy way to show others that making a stress ball can be pretty easygoing, and also has a lot of educational purposes behind it. The benefits of a stress ball, you know, it's not only a sensory thing, but also a stress ball can allow you to release some physical tension you have. So that's just kind of a lot of some of the things that we do with the Healthy Habit Station.
Awesome. Yeah, I know definitely for myself, learning about the DIY stress ball was really beneficial. I've got it actually for a while. I had it on my desk here, and I put it away. But I think I need to, based on the pre-show that I'm not going to share on air. But what I told you, Taylor, before we started recording with what happened to me at work, I think I need to bring that after we're done recording. That would have been really useful this morning. But
yeah, just squeeze that when you're trying to figure out how you're feeling, for sure. Maybe you can bring a stress ball with you to work now. I always have one on my desk. It's not the one we made, but it is a stress ball. So it's there when I need it.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna bring a stress ball with me to work without and for those listening, I'm not gonna I don't want to get any I don't want to publicly with any details because anyways, the other thing I wanted to add about what you shared about healthy habit stations, without giving, for those of you listening, we're not going to spoil anything on the exact healthy habit stations that we have, because we want you all listening to come out to our events to experience it firsthand. But what I will say is, when we gave a tour, myself and two other health messengers gave a tour to the board of directors of the Healthy Athletes. We started at the Healthy Habit Station at Summer Games, and that we had even quizzed them on some of what the station, on some of what we share with them. And they were really, they found it really beneficial and informative of what we were, when we talked about the We Think Your Drink or the sun safety. Some of these, for just a couple of brief examples, but even, of course, it's beneficial for us athletes, but also for everybody in our Special Olympics community can benefit, right, from the healthy habits.
Right. Yeah. So like, a lot of these we do focus on the athletes, but everybody benefits from what we have to share at Healthy Habit Station. Yeah, you're on point.
Absolutely. So, speaking of that, that's a good transition to who can take part in the Healthy Habit Stations. Where would we see these? We both know, and I'm sure a lot of, all of us health messengers know where it is. But for those listening, where can they find? Because we've got them at some state events, but not all. So who can do these Healthy Habit Stations, and where can we find them?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. So we host a lot of these in our regional or local events, but we also it's very popular thing to see at state events, especially if we are not able to coordinate a healthy athlete event, because like I said before, we like to provide resources and education for our athletes, no matter what, give them the opportunity to increase their overall health with education resources, if we can provide the screening. So if we aren't able to coordinate a fitness event or a healthy athlete event, we do try to do our best to host these events. And as you know, this is beneficial for our athletes, but also everybody else that's present at the event. We have parents, coaches, community members that love to come engage with whoever is hosting the stations, which leads to your other question, who can host these stations? We ask anyone that's interested in volunteering. It could be general volunteer, it could be medical volunteer, students that are interested in the healthcare field, and they kind of want to get a little taste on, certain topics that we cover. Athletes, I know, Dan, you kind of mentioned that you kind of started when you did the tour with the 4 members. Athletes or health messengers have hosted these healthy habits as well. For everyone that does host these, we have a volunteer guide that kind of gives them brief information about the topics, along with the fun facts about topics, fun ways or how to set up the table, and along conversation starters or discussion topics to kind of help engage with the athlete, get that conversation going. So we do have, athletes that also lead the station. That's been a really cool experience to watch. And Daniel, can you, when you did the Healthy Habit Station at Summer Games, can you tell us what it was like? Do you remember what topics you covered?
Yeah, I'm thinking back because that was a few months ago, and a lot has happened. A lot, yeah. It was what I recall. One was we had a few different drinks, and there was sugar in each of the drinks. Another was the sunscreen, the proper number, the proper the correct sunscreen to use.
Yeah.
I believe another one was the positive messages.
Yeah, so strong minds are probably a part of that. I know sun safety and hydration were the main portion of that. We did have a few activities there. I know we were handing out Propel electrolyte packets because it was a really hot weekend. We wanted to encourage everybody to stay hydrated and kind of talk about the benefits of electrolyte sugar-free drinks. We were handing out, I think we filled up water bottles, and also handing out these sun safety wristbands, which are UV rays, reactive wristbands. So they when you are exposed to the sun, it changes colors. So those are just some fun ways to kind of engage with anybody that comes to the station and allow athletes or anybody that comes to take away from that station. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. And I want to also highlight what you said about that the guide that, of course, us health messengers we've been trained to of what the guide is, but for the volunteers, that is probably important for our listeners to know that the volunteer, we want to make sure that whether it's a health messenger leading or volunteer, that we give the facts and the information is correct, that the athletes and really anybody that comes up to the health applications.
It's really just to give them a little bit of guidance on the topics, because the topics that we did cover, there's so many things you can talk about that. So we just kind of give them some starting points, some fun facts to share, and like I said, discussion topics, and also like kind of like some instructions on how to do particular activities that's been set today. So it's just a really good, especially if I'm not present or any staff not really available to do a full training, the guidance provides just enough guidance for them to kind of take on hosting the Healthy Habit Station on themselves.
Awesome. And people, I'm sure, are going to, some people might listen to this podcast the week that it comes out, but I'm sure others might listen to the podcast on demand at any time. So I guess, how can our listeners best know at what state events, so even regional events, but like what about like which events are going to have Healthy Habit Stations at, and where to find them across the state?
Across the state, you'll see them at our softball events. You'll see them at swimming events. Our summer games was a huge one. A lot of our spring games host them. A lot of our regions, as a state across the state of Illinois, we're broken up to 11 regions, with each region hosts their own regional events. A lot of times we'll ask the athlete or the volunteers to kind of host these events. So really, any sport that we host, there's a good chance that Healthy Habits will be there. We're still working to improve the number of presence at all of our events, but right now it's creeping up to being at almost every event, definitely at every state event currently.
Awesome. So for those of you who are listening, we definitely want to make sure that now that what was sharing in this episode, that you come on out and tell your teammates, tell if you're a coach, tell your team to make sure to stop at the Healthy Habits Station.
Yes. And I will make a point that a lot of times we are not usually placed on the competition floor or too close to the competition just due to traffic. So if there's anything in the coach's handbook or anybody saying, hey, we have a healthy habit here, we're there. You just got to come find us. We might be a little tricky to find, but usually you won't find us on the competition floor, but we'll be close by. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome. Yeah. Good point. Because I know definitely from myself, whether I'm playing basketball or bocce, we don't want to be, and I'm sure other athletes can relate to this too. We don't want to be distracted from competition. Awesome. So as we move on, speaking of these Healthy Habit Stations, we gave a little bit of a taste, but maybe we could share a little bit more about the education topics that we cover across the state, because I think some of this might be surprising, and some athletes might struggle with some of this, or might need some help. So let's walk through some of these education topics. That we offer.
Yeah. So we currently offer 9 or 10 topics. So we have a lot of options to offer in all of our events, but I'm going to share just a few with you, just so everybody can kind of get a glimpse of what they're all about. So with each topic or station that we offer, we have myself, staff, or we have volunteers, athletes, provide hands-on activities. So we'll have supplies for that. We'll have fun facts prepared. We may have some trivia questions informational handouts, and take-home activities. So some of the topics that I'm going to talk about today are clean hand, hygiene, goal setting, and sleep soundly. So with clean hand and hygiene, we provide education and resources about practicing good hygiene and proper hand washing techniques. Education covers on when and how long we should be washing our hands for, acceptable options to use when soap isn't available, like you're in a concert, festival, or like even in a bowling alley where you don't want to run to the restroom every time you use the ball. There's, you can use antibacterial gel. So, there's hand sanitizer. So those are other options. So we just talk about some resources, provide activities there. And then we have goal setting, which focuses on developing realistic and attainable goals, whether it's short-term or long-term, and helps the person understand what their hopes and dreams, what they would like to do tomorrow or the next month or in 5 years, what they want out of life, and how they can achieve those goals. So we have various different activities set up, whether it's like a vision board or like SMART goals, or kind of break down how to, for example, if they want to save $1,000 by the end of the year, what are the steps they must take to save $1,000? Or if they want to improve their basketball skills, what are the steps they may have to do to be better at certain skills in basketball? So it kind of breaks down. So that's what we do in that station, just kind of help the athletes or whoever comes up to help them come up with a goal for themselves. And then we have sleep soundly. Sleep plays a really important role in our physical, emotional, and mental health. It affects our ability to concentrate, make proper decisions, and our sport performance. So here we talk about the importance of quality of sleep, the number of hours you should be getting every night. The average we say is 7 to 8, but if you're younger or older, sometimes it may be more. And then we also provide tips on ways to improve to get quality of sleep. If you're on your phone and your lights on, you're playing loud music, that's probably going to set the environment is not going to be really the right tone for you to kind of fall asleep. You're going to be high alert. So we try to talk about better bedtime routine. So we have little activities to kind of help the athletes utilize, building a better routine to help, build better sleep, or how to beat this midday slump. You're up early, it's 2 p.m., you're super tired. There's probably a good reason for it. So we talk about those. So those are some of my top 3 outside the Fit 5 topics that I like to do at our events. But they're really important and they're good reminders.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to highlight a couple of what you said, I guess, from my own perspective. For one, the hand sanitizer and the good hygiene. I found that, especially probably coming out of the COVID pandemic, that was really helpful, and that's something that I've always done in the past, but it helped to kind of clarify the goal setting. If there's any athlete leaders or health messengers that have gone through, whether it's athlete leadership training or health messenger training, are probably familiar with goal setting. But can that be for both goals do we have either in our personal life, in our jobs, or can that also be any sport goals? Because I'm sure that there are some athletes out there that might want to, for the USA and even for the World Games, that are coming up in Italy and in Chile. Some athletes might want us, because you have to get selected for those national and international games, and so can some of those goals help to kind of play? Where we can help athletes with some of those kind of sport goals.
Yeah, so when we ask athletes the goal setting, we ask the athlete what their goals are, or we try to help identify what their goals are. They're always individualized. we may try to talk about like various different categories just to help the athlete really pinpoint exactly what their goal is. We all have different goals. We all want different things. We all have different skills, things to prove on. So for example, if somebody wants to go to the World Games, we have to talk about like the steps to get there, applying to be there, practicing the sport, all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be individuals based on that athlete's wants and needs.
Awesome. And then you mentioned about the sleep soundly, and I know for myself, I try to get 8 hours of sleep, and I like with whether it's a watch or even like the phone, I guess this is just like earlier in this health series this past spring when we did episodes recapping the becoming a health messenger episode. If our listeners go back to those episodes, we got like with Eric and Lowen and myself, we got personal with the health goals. So I'm going to kind of bring that personal side back to this episode on healthy habits, and I pull it up. It's kind of blended. Well, I don't. You probably can't really see it on the camera.
Okay.
But I've got the health app open on my phone, and this week, so like on Sunday, I got over 9 hours of sleep.
Nice.
Monday over 9 hours, and then once like I think last week I was able to get for the most part 8 hours. Tuesday this week was a little less, 6 hours. Wednesday 7 hours, and then last Thursday night 5 hours. Just because of how how busy.
That's a perfect example to say like getting 8 hours of sleep every night is a really hard goal to achieve. So behind Sleep Soundly, we just provide tips and helping our athletes build better routine before bed to help you improve their sleep. There are a lot of different factors that come with not getting enough sleep or getting too much sleep. You had a super long day, you didn't sleep well the night before, you're probably gonna get more sleep that night. Whereas the next day, you got too much sleep now. You're not gonna fall asleep because you have too much to think about or you're excited about something going on the next day. So there are a lot of different factors that come into why we're not getting consistent sleep. So we just try to help with that. But I really there are a lot of technology resources out there that can help you understand how much quality sleep you're going, because there's like different sleep cycles and you want to be in the REM cycle the most part. That is what allows you to, that is what considered quality sleep. So like you're averaging like 7 hours, I think, which is good. But it's really cool that there are resources and apps out there and watchers that allow you to kind of really get a better scope of how much sleep I'm getting. So yeah, if anybody's listening and they didn't know that, there's definitely stuff out there to help you really keep track of that. But we do offer other ways to help utilize getting better sleep. So we have both options there.
Awesome. I love that. And one last thing I'll add about that I've found really beneficial for myself, especially in the evenings. I put my phone on the sleep focus, and then I tried not to like a lot of those, whether it's social media apps or even like the text messages or just any a phone call, like any of those like notification type of apps. I try to tone those off. So when I am trying to lie down, try not to get distracted. Yeah.
That's a good idea to put those stuff on silent, especially if you're trying to go to sleep or if you've noticed that maybe social media notification or text messages it might be one of the reasons why you're not getting no sleep, because you keep getting distracted and then that binging noise is bothering you. So it's a good idea to maybe silence those just so you can focus on getting some good sleep. So yeah, there's a lot of different, I can go all day about how different ways to improve your sleep. There's so many ways. You just have to find what works for you. And that's what we kind of talk about in all these topics. We talk about what's best for the athlete to improve to allow them to incorporate better, healthier habits in their daily lives and what works for them.
Awesome. One last thing before we wrap up this episode. Well, at the end, listeners, in just a few moments from now, Taylor is going to turn that final question around on myself, where I'm usually asking the guests. But hopefully, you guys, these 5 episodes of this season of this health series, you all get different perspectives on what inclusive health mean to you. You heard from one of our clinical directors on the last episode. Taylor kicked it off with on the first episode of the series, and so it's on this episode. It will be my turn to share that as we wrap up in just a few quick moments. But one of our favorite, one of our and athletes' favorite activities of the Healthy Habits is the Rethink Your Drink, which is like you said, it's a powerful visualization.
It's a good visualization. So to kind of explain what this activity is, we've set up a variety of different drinks. It could be like Starbucks coffee in like that glass container, orange juice, milk, I think, or Mountain Dew or some sort of soda. And in the end, we have water. So in front of each of these drinks, we have a packet of sugar that contains the amount of sugar that are in each of these drinks. A lot of people that come up are like, oh my gosh, I just had a Mountain Dew today, and that's how much sugar I just drank. So it's a good like wake up call to really see, because you don't see the sugar that's in your drink. You may taste it a little bit sometimes, especially if you drink like juice, but it's blended really well, so you can't really tell. But so the ultimate message with all these drinks, because the water packet has 0 sugar, there's no sugar. So the message we share is water is best. And then behind this activity, it's hard to give up variety of different drinks. So we talk about balancing drinking water with maybe a little bit of diet soda, maybe a little bit orange juice in the morning. But the main message is really, are you drinking water throughout the day? Are you getting at least 5 bottles of water every day? Water is best. Water is the way to stay hydrated. Water helps you feel good. So ultimately, that it is a really good activity that we love to do. So yeah.
Awesome. And speaking of that, one last thing before we wrap up that I'll mention about this is I'll give you like our listeners a practical example for myself with the water, because I know sometimes in the past I've struggled with always getting those 5 bottles of water every day. Yeah. We laid it back to the Fit 5, but at work today I got some coffee in the break room before the end of the shift, because I knew that when I got home that we were going to be getting on to record this podcast, and so I needed to at least have some caffeine to keep
right. Yeah.
Just a little. But it wasn't a full cup, so it was just a little bit. But then I always have a bottle of water with me at work. And then the other quick example is here in the studio. I've got, so one is the one kind of small.
Yeah, that's probably about 8 ounces. That's a little above maybe 8 to 10. Yeah. And
then another one is this. It's more of a bigger water.
That's probably 15 ounces there.
Yeah. And then the last one, which is a global partner, Special Olympics, Coca-Cola. This is a golden smart water. If you watched the Olympics or Paralympics, you probably saw a lot of the athletes had this golden smart water, which is branded for the Olympics. I think they honestly, if you ask me, they probably should also added the Paralympics on there too. But maybe even So I don't know. This one. So you said this was 8 ounces.
I can't say for sure. About 8 and then 15. I want to say the smart water is probably 20. Yeah, I'm just making a rough estimate. It's just stay on there.
I'm looking on. Yeah, it should. It
might be on the front or top.
It's also in French because it's the Paris Games. So it says, I think, 533 milliliters.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure what that translates.
That's probably 15 to 20.
Yeah, and so for those of you listening, you can in the comments, if you're listening, leave us just let us know what that translates to if for any of our international listeners. But yeah, this is we fill this too. I've got a whole bunch of smart water. Too much to drink at one time, but so I just wanted to prop that up.
It's a pretty cool bottle.
It is, yeah. I knew about it before the opening ceremonies, but yeah, it's I think maybe if we need it, if we had that for some of our games,
it'd be super cool. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day we can when we do the Healthy Habit Stations, that would if anybody from Coca-Cola is listening, maybe we can look on that. Anyway,
love that.
Yeah. So with that, as we wrap up, and these I know these episodes are a little longer, but we are going to try to wrap up with that final question, Taylor. And so let's go ahead and roll that bumble.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
equality.
dignity,
and the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So, Daniel, what does inclusive health mean to you?
Great question, Taylor, because I had some time to over the past couple of days, and even when I was playing bocce last night, to think about that. And what inclusive health means to me is that we want those of us with intellectual disabilities want to just be able. The best way to have inclusion or inclusive health is to have us be able to blend in. Yes, we also want to have the right and ability to have inclusive healthcare, to have the same healthcare as everybody else. And I think one of the best, easiest ways that healthcare professionals to understand that is that we want to be able to just blend in to society, and the way, like, once you understand what healthcare we need, then we can more easily blend in. But I think that's the way. That's what inclusion and inclusive health mean to me.
I love that answer. I think that's very true. That just inclusive health, equal access, and that's why we provide resources and education to help bridge that gap. In the meantime, while we're trying to better, the healthcare system and all that, trying to build better relationship with doctors and all that. That's why we provide health screenings, healthy athletes, but also healthy habits, just to make those small progress in improving a world with more inclusivity in our healthcare system.
Awesome. So hopefully you guys all learned a lot about healthy habits in this episode, and this can you can take what we learned and this final inclusive healthcare into your own communities and society, and come on out to our healthy habit stations. For those of you listening, we'll put links to we've got resources on specialchronicles.com/health, along with all the episodes of this season 2 and the past season. We have 2 seasons available on specialchronicles.com/health for y'all to go back and listen. Lots of very content. Please share this episode with your friends and family. And thank you again, Taylor. We were in the final weeks of the month. We have coming up in inclusive advocacy as well as strong minds, and so hope you guys will all come back in the next couple of weeks and tune in for those episodes as well. And until then, thank you again, Taylor, for coming on. It's been awesome chatting about healthy athletes and Fit5, and I'm sure thank you for
thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun chatting with you and sharing all the fun information with everybody.
Awesome. So, folks, thanks. Take care, and we'll catch you next week right here on this Inclusive Health series on the Special Chronicles podcast on specialchronicles.com. Catch you next week. Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smrokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks, as always, to our business manager, Adam Smrokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smrokowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.